Welcome back, everybody. Today we're here to talk about The Walking Dead season 11, and we're gonna be looking at the brand new little teaser that they released after episode 20, or excuse me, after episode 19. Episode 20 is this week, but they are probably gonna release one after episode 20 because we got one after episode 17, after episode 18, and now episode 19. So yeah, the pattern is looking like we're gonna be getting these little teasers all throughout the extra 6 episodes. A bit of a marketing thing, and also hyping us up for season 11, which is going to be airing during this summer. This is a lot earlier than expected. I know season 11 got delayed, but because of these extra 6 episodes, I was assuming that they were going to release it still in the fall of this year. But no, apparently they're going to release it during the summer, which is great. And today we got probably our best one so far. They keep getting better each week, honestly. And we're gonna go through it. We're gonna talk about it. I'll talk about it I'll talk a little bit about the comic. So, when I get to that part of the video, I will give like a spoiler warning for the comics. Just in case there's someone who's reading the comics and they don't want things spoiled. If you're still reading it like issue by issue, I don't want to spoil it or anything like that. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But I will say general spoiler warning for the show. And then also, if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, be sure to hit the subscribe button because we have a lot of Walking Dead content coming up. But other than that, let's get into the video. All right, so here we have a cake. You might be wondering what's the significance of this. Last week, we had an ice cream shop. So these things actually relate to the Commonwealth because the Commonwealth, they are a huge organization, or civilization, I think would be a better way to describe them. I mean, they're far bigger than just like a community of people. I think they have like 50,000 people or so in their community. And what they're doing is sort of creating as close as they can to a similar life as to before, I guess you could say. It is kind of like the CRM, you could say that. But they have like restaurants and bakeries and all that, and stadiums and all that kind of stuff at their location or base. I mean, I wouldn't even call it a base. I mean, I can't wait to see it on the show. In the comics, it's like they have like a bunch of different places, or like they have like a huge place at like a stadium and a city and all that kind of stuff. So very interested in seeing how they're gonna do this with the show. It's gonna be pretty exciting to say the least. With the CRM, like we saw the outside, like that window scene where we saw like all the buildings, so we sort of got like a glimpse of what's possible, but we didn't really explore it that much because we were following the main group of characters in the world beyond. But the Commonwealth, I think we'll be able to see something similar to what we saw in the comics. So it'll be cool to see that transition to the show. But yeah, they have like bakeries, like I said. And that's probably why we're getting, shots like this of cake and ice cream because, that's the stuff that they have there. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this is actual footage from the show, season 11, because they are filming it right now. So this, very well may be footage from season 11. And then we get this transition. And this is what I meant when I said this is one of the better ones, because we get this transition into this wall of photos, and we can see a bunch of people here. We're going to go through it little by little and talk about each one. But this is where I'll give the spoiler warning for the comics. In case you're reading the comics issue by issue, you don't want me to spoil what happens. I'm not going to talk about the whole Commonwealth arc. I'm just going to talk about once they get there and what this wall means, because we know what it means through the comics. I'll give that spoiler warning. So there you go. But yeah, basically this wall is called like the Wall of the Lost. And you can see it up here. I have the image from the comics, and it's very similar. The guy over there says, "Oh, that's our Wall of the Lost." And that actually might be Lance who's speaking there. Who we actually, I think, saw in the trailer, who's the guy who's interrogating Princess. So that might be Lance actually. But anyway, so yeah, that it's called the Wall of the Lost, and because, like I said, they have like 50,000 people. They have this wall of people putting up photos of their family and friends and wondering if anyone has seen anyone, because again, it's a huge community and it's possible for someone to stumble across this community and possibly even get like lost within it because there's just that many people. Now the big thing in the comics, which I feel they will bring to the show to some extent, you know, because it's a pretty big moment in the comics, and they usually don't skip moments, you know, big moments in the comics, but it's a bit tricky because the character who's involved in this is not on the show anymore. But once they get to the Commonwealth in the comics, Michonne actually sees this on the Wall of the Lost, and it's a photo of her saying, "Have you seen my mom, Michonne?" And this is where Michonne reunites with her daughter. So that's like a pretty big moment, you know, for the comics, and just like in terms of story and in terms of character. Like imagine a character at the level of Michonne reuniting, you know, with their long lost daughter. Imagine seeing that on the show, you know. So you can imagine that it's a pretty big moment. And because they're bringing the Wall of the Lost to the show, and they have it in the teaser, I feel like to some level we may actually see something similar with a certain character on the show. So obviously it won't be Michonne because she's not on the show anymore. I mean, they could bring, I guess they could, you know, have someone related to Michonne, but then that feeling, you know, that effect that we got from reading it in the comics of somebody reuniting with their daughter, that would be missing because Michonne isn't in the show anymore. So I feel like, you know, it could be someone, that is on the show right now, and I want to go through the images and talk about who I think it could be. So I took a couple of screenshots of the images. You know, you can see some people here. It's a bunch of photos. You can't really tell who they are, obviously. But then we have this one, and we have this thing that says "Find my sister." And obviously, you know, that person, the "Find my sister" looks like it's attached to that photo of this woman who we can't tell who it is. But when I saw "Find my sister," you know what kind of came into my mind? Connie and Kelly, because Kelly is looking for her sister right now. So that's definitely a possibility for a reunion, you know, to happen in this moment. Now again, I don't think that'll have the same effect that Michonne and her daughter had in the comics, because those are relatively new characters, Connie and Kelly. But still, you know, I think it could be a possibility for them to reunite. And we know Connie's alive because we saw her in episode 16, and I actually went back to watch it because it's been a while, and we saw at the end of episode 16, that she actually runs into Virgil, which kind of threw me off in this theory because Virgil is connected with Michonne and the CRM, I guess, in some ways. That's what I'm assuming. It's so confusing with the CRM and the Commonwealth now, because like the thing that was so distinct about the Commonwealth in the comics was that they were like that one group that was so different than all the other groups. Like they were a true civilization. But we already have a civilization with a CRM on the show now, so now it's sort of confusing as to whether they're related or not. You know, I might make a separate video talking about that sometime in the future, but just talking about Virgil, you know, he had a connection with Michonne, and all things are sort of pointing at Michonne, you know, going to wherever Rick is. I mean, that's what it seems like, right? That's what everyone kind of thinks, I'm assuming. I think that's like the general consensus. So if you think otherwise, let me know. But I feel like that's what the majority of people think. So I'm interested in seeing if Virgil somehow knows the Commonwealth. I think it's possible, you know, since he knows the CRM, maybe he knows the Commonwealth. You know, he's been, maybe they know each other, the CRM and the Commonwealth, and therefore he knows both of them. Or what could happen, because some time has skipped, is that this is unrelated, but they just find each other and then they find the Commonwealth. Maybe it's unrelated to the CRM. But yeah, you know, that, you know, thinking about that can make your head spin, because there's just so many possibilities. And it is a bit confusing with two big groups like the Commonwealth and the CRM. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. As we continue on with the trailer, we see some more shots of the Wall of the Lost. Like we have this one. I can't really tell, you know, I can't tell if anyone here looks familiar. You guys let me know if you think, but I don't think, you know, they would show us anyone that we know in the little teaser. I just think it's teasing the Wall of the Lost. So some other possibilities that I have been thinking about is someone connected with one of the major characters. Like, what if we see someone related to Daryl or Carol or Maggie? That's a possibility. I know Dwayne is a theory. I've been hearing people say, what if Dwayne is on that wall, which I think would be awesome. But again, Morgan isn't on the show, so I don't know if they would do that, because that feeling, it would be awesome to see Dwayne. But I feel like if they would bring Dwayne back to the show, they would wait, and reunite him with Morgan. You guys let me know your theories about the Wall of the Lost. Who do you think we may see in there? Right now, the front runner for me is Connie. But you guys let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? Who will we see on the Wall of the Lost? But yeah, that was a teaser we got. Definitely our best one so far. I'm really excited that we're going to be able to see this in season 11. And very interested in seeing who we may see on the wall. But again, that was a teaser, so I'm going to wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating. And again, if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we have a lot of Walking Dead content coming up. And again, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching. Please take care, and I'll see you guys soon.